We got ourselves a Rifty. We gotta call him Rifty, the Thrifty Rifty, over on the team 2. Gonna be first up versus my man Telrion. Off the bat, I'm a big fan of this whole Night Elf attire. This man is probably excited for some of the customizations coming out very soon. Rifty is a Fire Mage. There's gonna be a whole squad of mages with an Archmage as Jayhawk. We got ourselves Philo as a Frosty Mage. We got ourselves an Enhancement Shaman Sire, which we call him Czar, or like a king. Or actually, we could call him king, right? His name is Tsar Bear. Tsar Bear, if you translate the letters like directly into English. But the word Tsar, the first 4 letters, that together gives you a name like king. But I'm not really sure what exactly to call him. I'm just gonna call him Tsar. We got us this Langer over there as well as a Affliction Warlock, with Telrion charging out towards Rifty with a Bladestorm, but not really committing big, just trying to see if he can maybe measure his offensive and mobility in order to try to take this mage very careful. I think that was maybe a Stormbolt potentially. Is that what it was? Big damage out by the Fire Mage, forcing the warrior back behind the pillar as the warrior is trying to see if he can put out the flames as best as possible. Got an image attacking him, going for the interrupt, and is hoping to get himself a little bit of that recovery with the second wind, if at all possible. Rifty is just fine playing out in the open, wants for the warrior to come at him as best as he can. Gonna be a meteor Bladestorm with a battle stance, trying to go for a blink, but doesn't really go super far. That is also going to be an ult time, just trying to make sure he's actually protected, setting some fires over at Telrion, but he's not really gonna push in and stay on top of Rifty. Rifty is perfectly comfortable right now. That ult time perfectly used, blank to follow as well. Telrion took a bit of damage, did pop some cooldowns there, but all of those cooldowns kind of went to waste because of the ult time. Is gonna go for a little bit of second wind recovery as the dampening slowly will start crumbling after a little bit of time, after about a minute more into the game. Yet another Bladestorm on Telrion, blink by Rifty, trying to make sure there's plenty of distance. Is gonna be a Reflect Up Stormbolt onto Rifty, does have himself a trinket with a breath to follow into a knockback, and this is gonna be a banner down for Telrion, trying to see if he can establish some pressure. Rifty continuing to run, continue to get some range. Gonna be a bleed on him, got himself that not all the time, but it looks like a random bits of combustion potentially. Is that what I saw, or is that a real combustion? It's sometimes hard to tell because of the challenge that mages play, but it looks like it is actual combustion. As Rifty's actually taking quite a bit of bleed damage right now, having to back up a little bit, hoping to go for a bit of food. Gonna be reflected immediately for Telrion in case there's any kind of CC or Rifty or any kind of damage. Got himself the ult time into a perfectly timed ult time just to make sure he gets some distance. No blink available for the Stormbolt, and for Telrion could be an opportunity to establish some proper pressure. Rifty looking for quite a bit of recovery. Bladestorm to follow, battle stance up already, trying to do the maximum amount of damage, trying to make sure he's unimpeded as it's going to be invisible. Rifty trying to go for a knockback. Telrion does not budge at all. He doesn't go far whatsoever. Into a breath, massive executes. Rifty might be in a lot of trouble. Got himself random combustion. That's going to be the cauterize. He's just on fire right now, trying to see if he can put out his own flames, but also trying to force Telrion back with an ice block right after. Felt like maybe the blades were going to set him over the edge as Telrion finally find himself a little bit of cover behind the pillar. Can go for a little bit of that respite, let him recover with a second win as Rifty looking to regain some of his cooldown. So far, this warrior is not letting this mage run amok here. He knows that he stays out in the open, away from any kind of coverage. Eventually, Rifty is going to be able to overpower him. All the time, immediately blinking to follow, and Telrion knows while the ult time is up, everything he does right now is just going to go to the wind. So he's going to be extra careful. Going to be the ult time. Looks like maybe canceled it. Rifty standing in place. Going to be a Warbreaker. Needs to maximize his damage. Big bleed onto Rifty. Could be the opportunity. Bladestorm in order to make sure he's just unimpenetrable right now. And Rifty's not in a great spot. Trying to see if he can reverse a big execute. Oh, and Telrion just needed to buy himself some time until the ult time was gone, so you could potentially secure the fate of the mage into a big old execute. Langer going to be up next as an Affliction, traveling with the Succubus, hoping to apply some of the dots on the Telrion. As it's going to be, what was it, fast kills, or Griffin just saying Lord. I couldn't understand anything he said, but you can literally see Lord. I see he's complimenting Telrion. We got ourselves Sneaky over on that team as well with Zarium, Rivka, as well as the fast kills. Just trying to look at the wrong person there for a second. Gonna be that Succubus you see immediately as Telrion reconnects again, banner down in order to make sure he doesn't stay inside of the Succubus charms for too long, but he's still dotted, still already set with all those afflictions. He needs to go for a little bit of recovery, but as long as Langer can maybe maximize his dots, He might be okay. Dots are set in. Talrion's gonna have to go defensive. Does miss his interrupt. It's gonna be a stun for Langer. Full dots are up. Could be potentially Darklight. Does go in for the big defensive or offensive rather. And Talrion is gonna have to do something. Gonna be a massive drain for Langer as he's transferred into a drained soul. Talrion does not really have much to really work with. I have Killblock to reset the position of his succubus and move it a little bit closer. I think even one for sacrifice on the succubus as the Darklight keeps beaming down Talrion. Not in a great spot. Having to go for Rallying Cry. Definitely needs to either maximize some damage, maximize some healing or something. He's not in a great position. Got himself Battle Master Trinket just to give himself a little bit more health. Stun into Lang, has himself a Dark back come back up very, very soon. Soul Rot is gonna rot down the warrior. Got himself the Die by the Sword in order to try to dampen some of the damage taken. Langer might just have to go for a wall here. Mordecai again. Oh, wait a second. Oh my goodness. I think that was the Battle Master Trinket as well as a Rallying Cry falling off at once, which allows Langer to secure a kill. Succubus see right back into Langer with an Infernal dropping down. Fastkill is hoping to live up to his name and establish a fast kill onto Lang. Got himself a wall, got himself a gateway as well, trying to see if he can change his position into a Drain Life. Does he have survivability? Uses Soul Burn in order to give himself a little bit of a shield. Mordecai to disorient him right after into a stun, but it doesn't connect. Azabel doesn't quite reach him. Does have a Succubus somewhere out in the open, I think. Does it fast kills? No, where is he? Yes, he does. All the pets are chasing after Lang. Portals over next to each other, so if Lang takes support, he knows that Fastkill is just going to follow suit, trying to go for a bit of recovery. Drain Life is helping him quite a bit. Fastkill swinging around the corner. It's going to be a little bit of a shield for Lang. Does he go for an interrupt? We'll need one. Going to be Darklight joining in. This is where Lang needs to be very, very careful. Got himself Dark back to very, very soon. Oh, but the conflagrations are going to end up burning right through him. Did not give him a chance whatsoever. With Sarber going to be up next. I'm just going to go with Sarber at that point, yeah. My goodness. Hey, Nekmar, remember Frisky? I heard about Frisky, my guy. I've heard last week, actually. My condolences. Interrupt onto fast kills. It's going to be an immolate to follow as Starbird does get hit with a succubus. You see, trying to see if he can summon up the elements around him with an earth elemental, giving him the fortification. Ghost Jewels fueling him full of resources. Scalesbolts off of fast kills does end up burning his soul in order to be able to consume a Warlock Hellstone. It's going to be missed interrupt by Tsar. Second Infernal join into combat. Tsar trying to see if he can leap right over to fast kills as the man trying to find himself some distance. Big Ascendance to follow. Does go for the fear as it is a random Ascendance proc out for Tsar. Fast kills needs to try to see if he can make a play before that Ascendance is invoked yet again. Looking for a Chaos Bolt, able to make him play. That's going to be Tsar trying to see if he can maybe sunder down the feed on the ground of the feed of fast goes into Observer. Actually ends up getting some value. That Observer going in for big zaps to follow. Mordecai sent on a Jayhawk as he goes in for big damage onto fast kills. That Observer making sure to punish him as best possible. Touch Magic. I don't know how fast kills is going to be able to survive this one. It's going to be Jayhawk out in the open. Does rip his soul out of his body, but it doesn't matter. Jayhawk took a couple of good hits there, but Zarya is going to be right next, trying to see if he can finish him off. See if maybe we can force out an Ice Block out of Jayhawk, who is going to go for a little bit of that health recovery. Zarya, not the same as Zaryo, but Zaryo will need to make a play. Pushes in. That's going to be an interrupt on Jayhawk. Does not get to connect. Jayhawk trying to see if he can spell steal every single one of the buffs from Zarya, and Jayhawk may be in an Icebox situation right now. Does have to go for that block as Zarya saw an opportunity, blinking in, hoping to end it. What's up, Ducky? How you doing, my man? Hope you're having a good one. Look at all this Derek sinking castles. What's up, Athlete? You want to come in there, blast him out of the game? Gonna be Ring of Frost to follow. Doesn't connect. Okay, Surge instead. Jayhawk has himself an opportunity to make some big damage happen. Trying to see if he can blast out through Zarya. Is gonna go for a blink. It's gonna be Zarya looking for that all the time to recover. But still, Big Touch of the Magic has been built up either way, though. So he's gonna take a pretty big hit either way. That's gonna be Touch of the Magic slamming on a massive missiles to follow. Is it gonna be a big barrage? Got himself more missiles. Zarya forced to go on Ice Block. As that is gonna be cauterized, breaking out of it fairly quickly. Jayhawk with an invis. Pyroblast flying in. Is it gonna be enough? Mastery damage might be enough. Oh my god, mastery damage was just enough to take him down with Phil Astraro? Is that what your name is? Phil, we're calling Phil, is going to be able to shatter through the mage at the very end. The Frosty Mage does end up taking it at the very end of the day, but the last man standing over for the team 2. He's got to go through Nikki. He's got to go through Gifka. Can he potentially do it? If Phil is up to the challenge, he might be okay. Actually, walking right next to Nikki almost gets him out in the open. Sniper shot opener as Nikki does establish himself proper pressure into a death chakram. Mad damage is going to be the ultimate time that's needed. It's going to be also silence to follow. Trinkets out of it, looking for big shatters onto Nikki with a Ray of Frost. Faint death to follow. Trying to go for blizzards into a freeze onto Nikki with a Ring of Fire right after. Could potentially be quite a bit of damage as the frozen orb does connect. Nicky's taking a lot of that AoE pressure, and Phil actually looks like he recovered quite a bit of health right now. Big flurries to follow, has himself a rapid fire. Phil better be extra careful here. Nicky not in a good spot right now. Does pop big defensive with the turtle. Wants to see if he can maybe put this mage on ice. With the mage with the blinks around the corner. He's the master of ice. He can control the blink there a little too early, which does give the hunter the opportunity to stun him with an explosive shot to follow. Wants to just see if he can finish off the damage. Big rapid fire right after, but the flurries and lances will be enough. Phil trying to see if he can recover some health as Grifko on the fast approach, looking to see if he can get himself a chance versus Phil. The mage does have 2 icebox. Actually, I don't know if he really does, because it looks like he's already used cold snap. Potentially could be Icebox right here, unless he's already used one. Did he really? Or did he just get interrupted there? I'm not even sure. That was actually very, very quick. I thought there could be potentially a mage coming back, but Phil does pick up 2 kills either way though. Well done, well done. But everybody on the mother gets to play. I like that. That's interesting. Let's go, boys. Let's get us another one going, yeah? Uno más, uno más, uno más.